everyone. Welcome back to this current episode of Sippin with Steven. And boy, do I have a treat for you today. A familiar face in a completely different role. Welcome back, Macaulay. Macaulay Minton is, as I said, a familiar face here at Sippin with Steven. He was the former single barrel coordinator at Wilderness Trail, and he talked to us also about a rye whiskey that came on Bourbon Limited. But you are here in a new capacity, in a very exciting capacity. He is in his true entrepreneurial spirit, has launched his own brand, Dark Arts Whiskey. And Macaulay, there are 4 great bottles in front of us, but before we get to the specifics, would you tell our viewers kind of how you came about this journey and how you came about launching this new brand?
Yeah, so as Steven said a few moments ago, I'm no new guy to the industry. I've been working for several years, have a long background in education in it, and I always kind of had a list of ideas and dreams on what I would do with the products I was working with before, and just really had all this in my mind and was putting it down on paper, and finally being able to pull it out of my mind into reality is just such a huge spiritual process. I mean, you think about your dreams and then being able to manifest it in reality, and that's what I've been able to do with Dark Arts Whiskey House. So we don't have any crazy 100-year-old brand story or anything like that, but what our brand is about is we pay homage to the people that brought us to this point, and that would be alchemy in our case. So alchemy is what brought us distillation, actually, and we honor that on the front of the label. We've actually come up with the concept of the 7 phases of whiskey alchemy. So there's crop growth, fermentation, distillation, maturation, finishing, blending, and then bottling. So our view on the 7 phases is most of the industry gives the emphasis to the master distiller, but that's only a certain portion of that wheel. And what we do is we elevate the role of the master blender and try to defy ordinary so we can unleash our spirit.
Well, let me ask you this, Macaulay, because that seems to be the current trend in the industry. Finished bourbons, blended bourbons, and I see 4 distinctly different labels, 4 distinctly different colors, which I know tap into your expertise, which you just briefly outlined prior. Tell me kind of how this has gone, because when I talked to you about this, I thought, how does one develop a brand? How do you come, and you answered that a little bit, but that seems very, very much of a huge challenge. So you've got 4 distinctly different bottles up here. Do you mind running down those and kind of giving an idea to our viewers of what you have currently offered? Because the one other thing, folks, I do want to tell you, just through conversation, Macaulay has told me that Dark Arts is in 22 states in the United States. For a brand new bourbon, it blew me away, but I didn't want to forget about that, so congratulations on that. If you could walk the folks through these 4 different bottles and kind of let them know the story behind them.
Yeah, so we have 3 different core products that we regularly distribute. The first one is Barely Legal Bourbon. So that name comes from the mash bill. It's actually 51% corn, 39% rye, and 10% malted rye. That one's always bottled at cask strength, unadulterated. The next one is also a high rye bourbon that I age with Jalipes Fleur French Oak, which is a specific forest origin. Smallest forest in France. Also making it the most expensive French oak money can buy, as I learned later in life. But
sure.
Just gives it a really nice, beautiful, savory note, dried red fruit, and toffee on the back end. And then the next core product is our Amburana finished rye whiskey. So I worked with the cooperage on this one to come up with a specific toast profile to bring out a little bit more of that vanillin, because Amburana can be so overpowering sometimes. All these are small batches, which means absolutely nothing to anyone except for myself. These are 3-barrel blends and always will be. So instead of like other brands blending for consistency, I take different nuances and create a wheelhouse of flavors with each of these expressions. But the core lineup is really just the tip of the iceberg for us. We have a single barrel program. Of course, you know that process, go pick a barrel. But then what I'm most passionate about is our blending program. So we'll take out different finishes, wood finishes, different mash bills, sit down and curate an amazing whiskey for a bar owner or store owner, and it just really shows that sell-through potential. Whiskey Advocate just wrote a nice article about us being one of the disruptors of the industry because there's no limitations there. It's not like one of those corporate places where you go in, 3-barrel picks, in or out, don't like it, that's it.
The fact that you are a disruptor surprises no one, especially me. It fits your personality, it fits this brand, and I think it is fantastic. Now, I did neglect to say where you're located. You all are in Lexington, Kentucky, right?
The Whiskey House is in Lexington, Kentucky. We're hoping to be open to the public at some point soon, but we've not crossed that bridge yet. There's a lot of market work in those 22 states that comes about launching
Well,
a brand.
tease that a little bit, but the fact that you got 22 states, that is fantastic. Now, as we go, is there any other thing that I have neglected to ask you about your products, about the journey, about the label, anything else that, as people are out on, it's not so much on the trail right now, but as people walk into one of those, a liquor store in one of those 22 states, and you've kind of said it, it's the blending that kind of sets you apart. I would encourage all my viewers to look for Dark Arts. It is fantastic. It's something unique. It's something different. And anything to add on that before we make a cocktail that is kind of your forte anyway?
Well, I mean, kind of going in with the brand's motif, there's no limitations. There's I got the bridle taken off of me and the stallion can run now.
You're running, baby. I love
We've got 35 different labels at this point and probably never going to stop because we're about innovation and not keeping with the conformity and just a status quo brand.
Well, you know, it's funny you mentioned that because the next thing we're going to do in Sippin' with Steven tradition, we're going to make a cocktail. And when you told me what it is, it's a variation on an old fashioned, but that is so much of an undersell. You, as you're preparing for this, tell the folks what you're making and how it makes it different than, say, the traditional old fashioned, which is the official cocktail of Louisville, Kentucky.
Well, we've changed it up all the way around on this one. So this is called Amburana Bliss. So I'm using a rye whiskey finished with Amburana. I went with an untraditional simple syrup. I use jaggery, which is basically a Indian molasses flavor, if you will. Has a little bit of ripe fruit in it.
Never had that.
We're also doing a little chai masala bitters in there. We're going to be toasting a little bit of orange slice as well too. Just makes a fabulous cocktail. You think it would be really bold and spicy, but some kind of mysticism happens in the glass, and it turns to this like creme brulee, creamy cinnamon bomb, and it's just fantastic. So that's why I wanted to bring this and show it to you, brother.
Well, mysticism, that fits right in place with your label, your brand, and your personality, quite frankly. So this is why we love having you on, Macaulay. And as you're making the magic happen, I will tell the folks, the rye whiskey you're using is unlike anything I've ever had. It's got a hint of spearmint that I find absolutely enchanting. I hate to say that I just used that word, but I did. Intoxicating and just wonderful. So as you're doing this, I know that's going to be terrific as we're starting with that very specific taste for me. And you've kind of told the folks what's going on here. We will have the recipe in the lead into this video as we go in. So folks, if this entices you, we will have the way for you to make this at your house, at your bar, for your party and your folks as we move forward. So
yeah, so we've started out with 2 ounces of rye whiskey. I put 3/4 ounce of that simple syrup and a very large amount of the bitters in there. What I'm going to do now is just char the outside of this orange rind a little bit.
Nice.
Coat the glass so it releases some more of the aromatics of the citrus in there.
Can I ask you, I've never seen someone char an orange rind before. Is that somewhat unusual, or is that like a signature of yours, or just I need to get out more?
I'm not going to say I invented it, but we're just defying all
I'll say
norms.
that is one of your that's one of your signature type things, I would say. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, well, awesome. We are that much blessed to be able to try this. So as you can see, as Macaulay makes this, not only is he an innovator in the product, but also an innovator in the cocktail world. So as he pours this in, we will do our traditional toast. But I'm telling you, folks, I've had this product, not this cocktail, but this product firsthand, and it is something to behold. I will tell you this, we will be having a couple of these products in the Fraser gift shop here sooner rather than later. So if you're in and out, if you're in downtown Louisville and you're looking for some of this, check in the store and ask us, because we can't wait to start selling it. So this looks far fancier than anything I would have before, but let's grab this, make a toast. I want to toast to the Dark Arts and to my good friend Macaulay Minton.
Thank you.
I hope that your new undertaking is as successful as I think it will be. You are a terrific ambassador for this industry, and the folks here at the Fraser wish you nothing but the best.
Appreciate that. And remember, dabble in the dark arts responsibly.
Well, yes, don't ride your broom with too much to eat. Cheers, everyone. Oh my goodness. You never disappoint, my friend.
Thank you.
This is fantastic. To everyone,
Cheers.
cheers to the dark arts.